So the biggest political issue in the world is the killing of the ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. Russia, we understand, doubts the veracity of what Mr. Trump is saying. Why do you doubt that the Americans have killed al-Baghdadi?
Well, again, I'm more of an expert on economy and investment.
I know.
But all I can say is that if it really did happen, I think it's an example of possible Russian-U.S. cooperation that can lead to better terrorism fighting and to other things. So I think there were lots of information exchange between Russia and the U.S. leading up to this event. And again, we'll see if it really did happen. But I'm sure if Russia and U.S. continue to work together, there are lots of great things that will happen.
The U.S. politically in the region here is going home. Does that create bigger opportunities for RDIF, in your view, for putting more capital to work in the region?
Well, first of all, I think U.S. remains a strategic partner for Saudi, for UAE, for many other countries. But Russia is definitely increasing its presence in the region. We have great partnerships with the sovereign wealth funds of Saudi, UAE. We are doing lots of investments. President Putin's visit was a great success. And frankly, this improvement of relations between Russia and Saudi Arabia is a great example for how, if Russia is treated with respect, a major geopolitical progress can be made.
You've got $10 billion invested with the PIF at the moment?
Yes, committed by PIF, around $3 billion invested by them.
Okay, where can you see that growing to?
Well, infrastructure in Russia and technology in Russia. And again, we are very much impressed with PIF because it can really transform the Saudi economy, and it can also be a great partnership engine for Saudi outside of Saudi Arabia.
Well, there is the proposition that you did the OPEC Plus deal, Saudi and Russia, and that you, Russia, were hoping for upwards of $10 billion in investment. I think we've run the numbers. It's about $2 billion. It's not exactly played out for that level of commitment, has it?
Well, I think that's a very wrong interpretation. Russia got more than $100 billion of extra budget surplus from the OPEC deal. We believe it's a great deal. It stabilized the market. So really, it's a benefit for Russia. It's an increase in its budget revenue. It's an increase in stability of oil markets. It's an ability for our oil companies to continue working in a predictable manner.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of deals. Fesco rallied 28% yesterday. This is the logistics company. Are you and DP World, is RDIF and DP World, are you ready to up your bid for Fesco?
Well, we are great partners with DP World. DP World committed lots of capital to the Russian market. We are looking at different opportunities. Fesco is definitely one of them, but only time will tell how this or other investments will evolve. Have you discussed raising the bid? Well, again, let's see how situation evolves around the company. Okay, we're not going to get a yes or a no on that. What about Salic, which is Saudi Agricultural Livestock? We understand they are looking at buying grain terminals in the Black Sea. This would be one of those turnkey deals. Is that deal being talked about? Yeah, for us it's a huge opportunity, and we have a great partnership with Salic because Russian wheat was forbidden from being imported to Saudi Arabia. So can we expect a deal on this? Prohibition has been lifted, yes. We expect to invest jointly with Salic in many opportunities in Russia, including agriculture infrastructure. And believe agriculture cooperation is one of the major pillars of going forward cooperation with Saudi Arabia. So this story about buying a grain terminal in the Black Sea, that is 100% correct? Well, again, I will say we are looking to buy several terminals. We are looking to make several agricultural investments. So we have a pretty broad plan with Salic, and Salic is a great investor. Okay, what about Saudi Aramco? It's the story of the hallways over the past 24 hours. Are you ready to take a stake in Aramco when it goes public? Well, some Russian investors are really keen to participate in the IPO of Saudi Aramco and to invest in. Russian banks, investment banks would also like to participate in this. Again, it's too early to say because we need to understand the final parameters of the deal. But we believe Aramco is a great company and obviously a great opportunity. Very quickly recovered from attacks it suffered, so it's a great investment opportunity. The differential seems to be between what Mohammed bin Salman wants, a valuation of $2 trillion, we understand, versus $1.5 trillion seems to be the number. That's a big gap, isn't it? Well, we'll see what the final conditions look like. I think there will be certain agreement to dividend policy, etc. So again, we need to look at all of the details. Do you think that dividend, let's talk about what appeals to institutional and pillar investors, at a yield of around just under 4%, I'm rounding up here, versus, let's say, a European major at 6% in dividend yield. Is it yield that matters in this investment story to the global community? Well, I think it's also an opportunity to participate in the largest oil company in the world that has the cheapest reserves in the world and that has lots of technology investments coming down the line. So again, I think it's a broader story than just dividends. Aramco is a very unique opportunity, and I know that lots of people are very interested in it.
In terms of the deals, let's circle back to this bigger relationship between Saudi and Russia. There's a number of deals which haven't come to fruition over the past couple of years, and I'm interested to know, are we any closer? You've got a liquid natural gas project in the Arctic, you've got Cyber and Salic building joint facilities. Are we closer to getting those deals confirmed? Let's start with Cyber and Salic.
Well, definitely Salic is a great partner, and we expect Sibur to make an investment of around $1 billion with us and some other partners in Saudi economy. And Salic is also looking at other petrochemical opportunities in Russia. So we believe we signed an agreement on one of the plants during President Putin's visit a couple of weeks ago, and we'll be doing much more with Salic because the partnership in petrochemical is also very important for Russia and Saudi.
What was the biggest agreement, do you think, made between Putin and Mohammed bin Salman when he was here a couple of weeks ago? Is this about putting real political differences aside for the sake of rubles and riyals?
Well, I think that was the origin of the relationship, because I think Saudi Arabia and Russia have made very important decision 5-6 years ago. We said, let's set aside our differences, our disagreements on Syria, and work on other issues, and see by working on those issues if we can build more trust. And by oil deal, by doing investments, we build sufficient trust to address Syria and other differences along the way.
The one big news story over the past 4 weeks, apart from Aramco, which is every single day, is this major shift on the Red Sea development. Are you in talks to put any money into any of the projects in the Red Sea development?
Definitely, and we expect lots of Russian tourists to go there. I personally visited several times. It's really a remarkable area, and we have 6 million Russian tourists going to Turkey every year. So MBS put a target of more than 6 billion Russian tourists over the next several years coming to Saudi.
How many billions of rubles are you going to put into the Red Sea project?
So we work with some of the largest companies in Russia for hotel operators, and right now we're focused on 5 projects that we believe are going to be quite significant and will bring lots of Russian tourists to Saudi Arabia.
Is that $1 billion? Is that $2 billion? Come on.
Five great, big, successful projects.
5 great, big, successful projects. The one thing that Saudi needs to do quite a lot of work on is FDI. What is the one thing that will change the FDI story for Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think, again, it's predictability, and we see that there are great people at this conference, and people believe in Mohammed bin Salman's reform and His Majesty's reforms. So I think it's just execution of this reform plan to make sure that it really happens. And right now there are lots of investors who believe in this and who see the difference in tourism and other sectors.